Hey everyone, welcome to Breakthrough Conversations. My name is Danielle Perry and I'm the host. You already know I'm super excited that you are tuned in today for another episode. And if this is your first time, this is a Christian podcast which features people of all ages, and they share a bit of their story about how God has helped them to overcome a difficult challenge, situation, or a season in their lives, or maybe they're on their way to overcoming with God's help. And they do share authentically. Well, you should know by now that we are in the marriage series, and this is the 4th episode. And it features Mr. Montague Blount and Mrs. Natyra Blount. And the title of this episode is Navigating Life as a Team in Marriage. Montague and Natyra, thank y'all again for taking time out of your busy schedules, because y'all have a lot going on. Taking time out of your busy schedules to just share a bit of your story on this podcast. I already know it's going to be a blessing to so many people. And y'all, you are going to laugh, okay? This couple is so fun. They're so loving. They're so caring. And I'm just honored to have them as friends in my life. I've known them actually for a very long time now, but it's been in the more recent years that my husband and I have grown to become closer to this beautiful couple. And so thank y'all again. Y'all already know I admire how you do family with your children, and how you're taking care of your mom in this season. It's so beautiful. So I encourage you to keep going, keep doing what you do. Y'all, you're going to be able to really relate to some of the things that are going to be said in this episode. Trust me, they shared very authentically, which is a part of the theme of this podcast, is to share authentically. And they did just that. So I want you to get your notepads out, be ready to take some notes, be ready to say, I've been there, or I'm in that right now. So without further ado, here it is. This is part 1 of episode 31. Enjoy and be blessed. And they are none other than the Blounts. Hey, y'all.
Hi. Hello.
To be more specific, Natyra and Montague Blount. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Yeah.
We're doing well.
Yep, we ate breakfast, so we're not hungry.
Well, there you go. I know that this is going to be a hilarious episode. I'm already just looking forward to what's going to be shared. But I also know it's going to have a lot of nuggets of wisdom. So before we hop into the questions, I want you to introduce yourselves and tell a little bit about who you are.
Well, my name is Montague Blount.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very unique name that was bestowed upon me upon my birth. But in growing up, I did not like my name because the first day of class was always nerve-wracking because people always snickered. It was really crazy. But then I really started to cling to the real meaning of my name, which is at the peak of the mountain. It says vision. And when anyone is calling me Montague, they're really speaking life to me. So that's why I prefer that name.
I love that.
I guess that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Natyra, and my mommy just knew somebody named Tyra and liked Tyra, and then went down the alphabet till she got to N, and she liked the ring of that. But Montague later helped me to see that my name does mean natural,
Okay.
and like it just fits.
Mm-hmm,
So that's
it
who I
does.
am.
It's Albanian for natural.
I could never remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always want to say. Anyway, I'm not gonna say it because then people are like, she don't have no culture. But anyway, yes, Albania for natural.
I love it. I love it. Well, I have you guys on today to talk about navigating life as a team. Just within your marriage, how you guys are able to do things as a team. And so I want you to first, though, share with our audience how and when did you meet?
You can go.
No, go ahead.
What?
Because I'm going to make the story better. Go ahead.
Oh.
Sure. Montague and I met twice.
Okay.
Okay. And literally the next time I met him, I didn't realize it was the same guy. So I don't remember the year, but
It's 2001.
Morgan State, we went to Annapolis and were protesting about a library.
Okay.
I don't know if you probably weren't at no. But anyway, it was this whole big thing. We got they had buses for us. They gave us lunch. Because I remember we went to Subway. That's the only way I was going to be able to eat lunch because I ain't had no lunch money. We were able to not go to class and go to the Capitol and protest for this money for the library. Of course, we got the library at this point. But they told us no, remember? We kind of lost.
They delayed the payment.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, when we were there, I literally didn't go with friends. I just was like, oh, we can go. So I just went. So I was kind of bopping around, talking to whomever. And Montague and, I'm not going to name his organization, but him and some friends in his organization were walking. And I was with someone, I don't remember. Anyway, I was
Maybe
walking.
gazelles.
It probably was just But anyway, I was walking and I ended up within Montague and his crew. I didn't realize I was just like kind of, and I was kind of looking up at them like, "Hi, how's everybody doing?" And I was introducing myself to everybody, and he was very unpleasant.
Oh.
Okay. Number one, he didn't give me any eye contact.
Okay.
Right. So I was like, "What's your name?" And then he was mumbling like, Montague. And I was like, "Oh, what's your name? What'd you say?" He was like, "Montague." And I was looking like, "Oh, okay." I was looking like, this brother must think I want his number or something. It wasn't even that serious.
Right.
Okay. So, but I was like, I'm not doing this because we out here being positive and we want a new library. So I kept it cool. A library.
Library.
That's how we pronounce it.
Yes. But anyway, so that was the first time.
No. Let's stay right there, right? So to give backdrop to that, my grandfather was a senator and worked in Annapolis.
Senator
Okay.
Clarence.
So I at the time I was not in school, right? I was out. I was taking a semester off. Ended up being 5 years a semester, but whatever. So I went to visit his office with my friend before the protest began, and
Who went with you to his office? Rob?
Rob.
I knew it was Rob.
And when we got in his office, we sat down. He was like, "Hey, so how are you doing?" Blah blah blah. And then he was like, "Why are you here?" And I was like, "What?"
Okay.
And he was like, "You're not in school, so why are you here protesting for the school?"
Okay.
And like,
You got in trouble.
I understand what he meant
Right.
by that, but I definitely ended up taking advantage of the library, so it was something that I cared a lot about. But I was upset about that.
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
upset about that encounter. So she called us right after
So
that.
it was lingering still.
Right. So we were walking to the place, and you know how you have those people that are real bouncy, that and then when you don't give them the response that they're looking for, they're
Right.
like, "Excuse me."
I did not even do that.
I bet you if you're watching
No,
film, you'll
I
see
said-
her head go like this.
I said, "What's
Yeah.
your name?" And you didn't look at me, and I was like, "What'd you say?"
Right.
Like what? What is? And you're like this tall. I'm down here, and you had that T-shirt wrapped around your head.
See,
That ain't had nothing to do with it. I know. Y'all were extra.
I did.
You and your boys.
I did, and see how I let you finish, but you didn't let me finish. But anyway,
I'm sorry.
I was hanging out with the Gentlemen of Quality. There was a great organization that really helped me grow, and I'm still friends with a lot of them this day. But that was the first time that we met. I wasn't being mean or nasty. I just was like, my
Yeah,
feelings were
you
hurt. I was
still
feeling
trying to
low
come
at
down
that
from that,
moment, and
yeah.
I didn't want to really engage in conversation.
Right.
So when we met the second time, it was at Blockbuster. At that point, I was working at Blockbuster, and I saw a young lady come in. I didn't think she was cute or nothing. It wasn't nothing like that. But she had these really nice locks. Like, what I'm saying is I wasn't looking at her like that.
Right.
She had these really nice locks. And, she was with Syphonia. And they came up to the desk, and I was like, "Hey, we have a special going on where if you buy a soda, you can get a video and a candy and blah blah blah." So like they already had like half the stuff, but the way that I proposed it to her,
Right.
they ended up paying less than what they were going to pay. So she thought, of course, I was hitting on her.
No, I did not.
Okay, her
Syphonia
friend.
said, "Ooh, we got a
thought-
discount because he thought you was
thought you
cute.
was cute.
Your boyfriend gave us a discount." I was like, "Girl, I don't even know him."
It wasn't nothing like that. It was like I was the king of promotional sales, so that's what I did.
Okay.
But I did like her hair, and I asked her. I had a little.
'Cause you had locks,
Gumby.
too.
I had at
Not
that
yet.
time.
Okay.
I had a little Gumby fro, so it was
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like that
A
a little bit.
lopsided afro.
Yeah. So, and I had the comb with me at work because the joint just wouldn't sit right. So I asked her, like, "Who does your hair?" She was like, "I do my own hair." And I was like, "Well, do you do other people's hair?" She was like, "Yeah." So that's how we ended up meeting the second time. So about 2 or 3 times in, I brought Rob with me to get, because he was growing his hair out too.
Okay.
You did? He came to my house?
Yes, and that's how you remembered me, because you remembered him. He was the one that was talking to you.
Rob was so nice.
Right. He
As
was the
he
one that was
always
talking.
is.
Okay.
He was the one that was outgoing, that was engaging in conversation with her. That's what made it click.
Okay.
That it was the same people, and that I was the one that was mean to her. So,
But by the time I realized you were mean, Montague, I remember I already liked you though, so it didn't matter
so
Oh.
you know.
because
I love it. I love it.
Anyway, so I think that is a great story. It's a good icebreaker. I use that story in interviews.
Okay.
you do.
Yes,
Do you tell it right or
I tell my version, which is the
copy
correct
that?
version.
Copy that.
So you know,
Say no more.
there.
I love it. So you said that you started liking Montague at some point. So did you like him before he liked you, or how did that go? Like, how did you guys actually start to begin to date?
I think it's the same moment where we start to like each other.
Okay. What is this face?
Go ahead.
Is this the second question?
Yeah. So yeah, there was I don't know, we probably a couple hairdos in, and I showed up at her house,
Okay.
and this time Natara had no products, so none
Okay.
of the stuff that she needed to do my hair was in her house. So we had to take a trip to the beauty supply store to
Okay.
get the stuff. So anyway, like, you know, you could kind of feel stuff in the air
Okay.
during that trip. We did a lot of joking. I mean, I do what I usually do, which is like kind of hold the door open and you know, be polite and all that stuff. And on our way back to the house, I didn't really know that area that well. I mean, the first time I went to her house, I got lost because she gave me faulty directions, and they were in the window laughing at me. Her and her sister, when I could hear
He
them
was in a
cracking from the
completely
parking lot.
different-
But anyway,
I was like, what is he
we'll
doing?
go. Yeah. So I asked her, I was like, where do I pull over? Because I couldn't tell how far we were from the house. She was like, right here. So I pulled over, and we started walking back to the house, right? And I'm looking around like, we like 4 or 5 blocks away from her house.
We weren't.
And yes, we were.
Blocks.
Blocks. BLOX.
Blocks.
Blocks. We were about 4 or 5 blocks from her house, and I was clowning her the whole way back because
Okay.
how do you not know where to stop in front of your house? So yeah, that was kind of when it was sealed that, you know, there was something going on.
Gotcha.
But even then, like, I didn't really know or really feel like I was qualified to date her until
Okay.
even later on. Than
Okay.
that. So, you know, you feel something, but you don't really act on it.
No, why didn't you feel qualified?
Well, I mean, we can get into that later as part of another
Okay.
question.
Okay.
I
All
think
right,
it's
we
the
can
same
answer later.
question, right?
No, it's not. Oh, yeah, it is. It is the same question. That was a very good transition then. So, you know how you're around someone and you know that God is all in them, like His Spirit is resting on them. Like, that's how I felt around the tower.
Okay.
And there were certain things that I wouldn't do or say around her that I would do anywhere else, right? So, you know, I had a lot of fun. Not that much. I was pretty good, but for the lack of a better term, I was a sinner. And so when I got around the tower, it was like when you're first going to church, and you go to church and you know, sit in the atmosphere and you have on your church-like attire and you act churchy,
Right.
and then you go home and you go
Do what you
about
wanna
your
do.
normal business, and that's how it was. But as time went on, I would notice that the God that was resting on her would follow me home.
Oh, wow.
And I just, over time, the way that I carried myself and conducted myself around her became the way that I carried and conducted myself, period. So I hope that
Wow.
answers the question.
Wow. That's good. That's good. Okay. So, how long did you guys date before getting married?
Another funny story. So I'm going to just, be transparent. Like right here, she said a year, I don't know. That was her answer. We started dating in November of 2002.
Okay.
And I know that because my mother took me to the Ritz-Carlton for my birthday that year, to this like swanky masseuse or whatever.
Okay.
That's her thing. And they had a computer in the lobby. So I was like, let me email Natara or whatever. I emailed her, and at the end of it, I said, "As God does, I love you."
Oh, wow.
Right? That was my way of kind of,
Hey.
yeah.
That was a safe,
It,
just in case I ain't say it back.
Yeah,
I was
something
just
like
talking
that.
about agape.
So
Now, I straight up told Montague I loved him to his face.
Okay.
So I said it first. Mine count as the first one. But
Was that early on or?
that was it was the next time we saw each other.
Wow.
after the email?
Yeah.
But I think early on I wasn't looking for a relationship. I was pretty okay where I was. I knew that at some point in my life I wanted to be married and have kids. I didn't know if I would ever be married and have kids though. I wasn't sure about that, but I was in school trying to finish and student teaching and working. I worked at a rec center.
Cutting class.
I only started cutting class when I started dating this dude named Montague. Anyway, but hanging out with Montague, it was so comfortable. I could just really be myself. I know people say that, but I could. Like, I didn't have to be like the representative of Natara until he liked me, and then myself. I really was able to be myself because I really was confused about the directions when we went to go get that shampoo and stuff, because I was just like, I just knew. I left my apartment, I got on the 3 and took it up Loch Raven. Like where we went, the beauty supply store we went to is right by where we go to church.
Okay.
So if you know that intersection of Loch Raven and Taylor, there's a shopping center at I couldn't remember which shopping center and whatever. So I was kind of confused. I was like, nah, you turn right here. No, wait. And I didn't drive. I took the bus and I walked places. So I really was kind of confused, but it was so funny because even him making fun of me, I knew he didn't really mind
Being
that
lost.
I was kind of getting him lost up the street. We were literally up the street, but I was just like, wait, oh no, it's that one. And he was just like, I'm never listening to you again. Like he was just driving, like roasting me, and it was just so funny. But I was so comfortable around him. I was like, this guy's nice.
Yeah.
But I was like, whatever. But from that moment, whenever he called, and normally it was the call to set up to get his hair done. I would get nervous if I saw his number on my phone. I'd be like, oh, it's the hair guy again. Oh, hold on. Hello. So,
I love it.
The hair guy again.
so I can't remember if it was before or after when one time we were in a car, and I was pretty I was a straight shooter. I would think, you can correct me if not, but I just remember I was also in an organization. I was in Alpha Nu Omega, and there was a ball. And I didn't want to go with none of them, none of the guys from that organization. So I was like, you want to go with me to this ball? Like, we weren't talking, though.
Okay.
But every now and again, we would talk on the phone. It would turn into setting up hair, but we would talk on the phone. I was like, so you want to go to this ball? I'll try to be as casual as possible.
Yeah.
But I did kind of shoot my shot.
Okay.
And this dude going to holler out, I don't know. I was like, oh, okay. So, because fine. You see?
Right.
So we got off the phone, and then it was like 2 weeks or maybe a week.
Okay.
But I didn't hear from him. It was a
way
while.
more than 2 weeks.
Okay, well, it was a while, and I didn't hear from him. So I feel like I talked to my homegirl about it, and I was like, I don't know what he think this is, but he acted like I asked him to marry me or whatever. Like, it wasn't like I was offended. My feelings were a little hurt, but more attitude.
Okay.
So I'm almost sure I called him, and I was like, it wasn't that serious. You call me? All I know is I was a straight shooter in that phone call. I was like, it wasn't that serious. I just wanted to know. I was like, because, like, I'm not trying to be in a relationship with you or nothing. I just wanted to know if you wanted to go because you cool. We could have went. It would have been fun.
Right.
You know, I ain't want to go by myself.
Right.
You know, whatever. I was like, but you ain't had to do all that.
So Montague, why you say no?
Whatever.
Or I don't know.
His answer though.
Okay.
Because I was like, and bye, and figure out like in the back of my mind, you figure out who gonna do your locks. Cause we ain't doing that, and I ain't sweating you like that, cause I don't be sweating people like that. But he said, well, in the same calm, soothing voice that he always speaks, he was just like, well, I don't have a suit, and I didn't want to say that because I didn't want you to go with somebody else, so I just didn't say anything. Immediately, I was just like, well, you could have just said something. I ain't really want to go to the ball anyway. It was just such a sweet and transparent answer.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess we could be friends or whatever, but like, don't do that to me.
I love it. So, how long did y'all date before?
From November 2002, and then we got married in 2005, spring.
Okay. So, talk about the proposal.
We were planning our wedding
Before he
for a few
Okay.
months before I actually proposed.
Okay.
We were young, and like everybody at Living Waters was young. And so during that time, Danny, there were a lot of talks like, y'all don't be spending the night over each other. It was a whole lot of things you would say to young single college kids,
Right.
y'all stop acting,
Yeah.
you know, and not shacking, but just acting, and y'all stop. And at some point, Montague and I were like, we really need to establish what we're doing. Because we were in a relationship by then. We'd established that. We were talking is what we called it.
Right.
That was another thing in the car. I was like, I need to know what we're doing.
Right.
Okay. But anyway.
I hated that term.
I know.
What,
Yeah.
talking?
Talking.
We talk. All
Yeah.
right, what are you
Right.
going to do? You didn't want to be called a boyfriend, right? Anyway, we didn't know what to say. But we were together. We were a couple. But, you know, and still it was just like, y'all ain't a couple because y'all ain't married. It was all, we didn't know what to say. Like, it was one of those things where it wasn't talked about in a healthy way to where you could give it a real definition without people saying, well, don't forget y'all ain't married.
Right,
Like, it's still
right.
valid
Yeah.
if we're not married. If we
Right.
decide that we just want to be with one another
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's us courting.
Right.
But anyway, at some point were saying like, because of the natural progression of being in love with someone and what comes eventually, we were just like, I was just like, I don't want us to fall into that and, you know, not end up together. So we really need to decide.
Yeah.
It wasn't just me. We were saying it like, we really need to decide if we want to be married or not. And then we need to go from there. Because if not, then we need to chill.
Yeah.
Or we're going to make a big mistake.
Absolutely.
You
And
know,
how-
because
how
he
old were
looked good,
y'all?
I look good.
24.
Okay.
And so we fasted. You remember that? We fasted. And then I stopped fasting early. I was like, well, God told me to do whatever you say. So I stopped fasting. I was like, I could
She
eat.
just wanted to eat.
No, I remember just like,
just wanted-
whatever he decides, you have to be okay with that. And I was like, okay. And we decided, okay, we're going to get married. And then we started planning, kind of, sort of.
Yeah. In the meantime, I didn't have money for the ring, right? I worked my little job at the video store, and she was working her little job at the school, and just didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Sure.
But then I purchased the ring. Finally had enough saved up to get one.
It was income tax or something, right?
No.
No, you saved for that?
Yeah, saved for
Come on. Save for your girl. Let's get him. Go ahead. I ain't never know that.
Yeah, I saved up. And one night I woke up in the middle of the night, and at this time I was so irresistible that Natara moved her house
No.
from Loch Raven to directly across the street from me, so she could
No.
do one of these and look out the window and see where I was coming and going.
No.
So
Tell
listen,
her why.
let me finish.
Okay, because you ain't even telling the truth.
So yeah, so I I took the ring that I had purchased and I went myself across the
Put your whole
street
hand on the side of my
and I turned on the music that I was listening to, which was the worship medley leading into Seasons on the Darian Dennis album, the first one. Well, that was probably his second one at that point in time. But that album
had
was
water
clean.
on the front. Full
that
Measure.
album, no, it wasn't Full Measure. It was the other one.
Okay.
A New Place, I think it was called. That album was crazy.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I feel like God has been speaking to me. This is the season for us to get married, and I just wanted to make sure that I proposed to you because I never actually asked you. And then I proposed, and she.
Hold on.
Well, I was asleep. That's the thing.
Hold on.
It was the middle. I was literally. So, first of all, we lived across the street from each other because I told you, we were already planning. So I moved out from living with my sister and our roommate, which is also like a sister. But anyway, I moved out and moved into the apartment where he and I were going to. It was our apartment.
Okay.
And I moved in. And it happened to be across the street from Montague and Rob.
Gotcha.
And it was right on Cold Spring, right by the university. So he had a key. But we were very careful.
Yeah.
But he had, mostly careful. Anyway, but he had a key, and so he came in the middle of the night to propose. And Nadia was there. Because Nadia stayed in the spare room.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't by myself in that apartment, and he wasn't by himself in his.
Gotcha.
But it was very nice because he knew the answer was yes already.
Yeah.
We were already talking, making plans.
Yeah.
Lynn and Dante catered the wedding.
Okay.
A lot of friends from Living Waters helped with a lot of stuff.
A lot of things. Yeah.
They help with everything.
It
was really
everything.
Everything was Living Waters.
But my sister
And
got the
ancillary.
cakes.
Yeah.
And my sisters were my bridesmaids.
Okay.
And Syphonia was my maid of honor at the time.
Aw.
But anyway, I knew that we were of little means at the time. So I didn't need a big old diamond. I didn't need anything flashy. But the ring was way nicer than I thought.
Okay.
It was like
It's
it
like
had
that one.
it had the diamonds on it,
It
but
was
the big
smaller.
one in the middle. But I remember like he put it on and I said yes, and I was crying. When I hugged him, I was like,
No, you wasn't. Were you?
I was like, this ring is nice. Okay, I got a real diamond on my finger. It was just very nice. And I remember because it was a prophetic summit. Were you ever been?
I've been to a couple.
Okay, it was a prophetic summit weekend.
That's right.
And it was very busy. But I was showing everybody this ring. I was like,
Absolutely.
oh, it's hot in here. Like, oh my goodness. And I remember the whole weekend, PL was so busy that I didn't show him. But PL used to get on Montague about getting me a ring. I ain't know about this.
Oh, okay.
But he'd be like, Montague, you put a ring on that girl's finger. Get that girl a ring, Montague. Because they knew we were planning because we were doing premarital. We were doing all this stuff already. Because I was
Gotcha.
okay with him not getting me a ring. Because
Okay.
I knew
Yeah.
we wanted to be married. I was okay.
Yeah.
It was just a bonus, though. It was very nice. And I remember PL called me that Monday after the weekend was over. He was like, did you get a gift? I was like, huh? He was like, did you get something? Over. I was like, Montague gave me, he gave me a ring. He was like, why didn't you show it to me? I was like, because I don't know. You were busy.
You don't know. Yeah, you don't know past the lines.
You
at
didn't want to
events.
mess with him during that time. He was very busy. We had,
He
we
was
had
focused.
guests and
Yep.
yeah, but I remember he called and he was
that
not
year
happy.
was David and Nicole Binion, William Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was a lot going on that
It was-
year.
it was a lot of
You ain't about to
big
show him
people
your
there.
ring in the middle.
Like,
midst
PL,
of all
look.
that. Right.
Yeah, I'm self-made now. So I wasn't.
Right.
I didn't want to play myself. So.
I love it. I love it. So you guys said that your wedding was, it was small, pretty small wedding, or
Nice.
It was
We
small,
invited
but
90 people.
Listen,
okay, that's a
it was small,
But it was big.
It was in
Yeah.
a mansion in Clarksville.
okay.
So we, it had the two
Staircase.
twin staircases and the columns. It was really nice.
Beautiful.
It was a really nice setup.
It was definitely above our pay grade.
Okay.
But Gigi knew a person, and
Yeah.
that's how it happened. We didn't have to pay for that. We didn't pay for
Oh
that
wow,
mansion.
you had to play for the.
It was literally
venue.
this was
Oh,
someone's
yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But we couldn't dance because we couldn't mess up his floor. So we didn't.
Oh.
As much as I
okay.
like to dance, we didn't have
Yeah.
We didn't have that. We didn't have a reception like that. No.
Okay.
But everything
We
was
did
at the
have a
house.
reception, but no
Okay.
no dancing.
Yeah.
Got you.
It was really nice.
I just remember talking to Lynn. She was like, I mean, we could do your
Lynn.
catering.
Lynn, why is she?
You can. And they were like, I remember I used to say that her and Dante were my godparents.
Okay.
At that time. And I mean, they didn't do it for free. I didn't want them to do it for free.
Yeah.
But we had
We
good
probably-
food.
We probably didn't pay you.
It was like a buffet style. So people got to.
It's probably a discount.
Oh, well, it was definitely a discount when I think of what they did. And I literally can't remember who handled flour. Gigi.
Gigi handled the flowers.
Okay.
She bought new china.
Yeah, because we were
for
like,
the
we could
dishes.
do fancy plastic
Nope.
stuff.
She bought
She was
all the
like,
china.
no.
And Gigi is Montague's mom.
Yes. Gigi was like, we're not doing tacky.
We got the chairs from the Ritz.
Oh, wow.
We had it set up that someone was supposed to bring the chairs after the rehearsal dinner the day before. That person didn't show up. So it was like midnight, and I was sitting in the house like, what is going on? I called up Bawana. I think Rob, Kwesi, and me.
Okay.
And Rob and Quasi were your groomsmen.
Maybe Anthony.
Wasn't Anthony a groomsman?
Anthony was one of the groomsmen. Yeah. Rob was the best man. And we all rode down to, like, first of all, this place was in Clarksville.
Right.
So Bo came from Baltimore, put the little thing on the back of his truck, drove out to Clarksville, picked me up. Then we went to D.C., loaded all the chairs up, drove back to Clarksville, and then he went home. We didn't finish until like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Our wedding was an evening wedding, so our wedding was at 5 the next day.
Okay. Well,
and
that's
it was
good.
Easter weekend. I don't know
wow.
why we
It
did
was.
that.
Yeah.
It was March 26th, and Easter's never in March anymore. I was like, how did that happen? But anyway, it was March 26th, but it was the Saturday before Easter. We didn't do a rehearsal on Friday because it was Good Friday, so we did the rehearsal on Thursday.
Okay.
Okay, so I had my days off a little bit. But yeah, anyway, we did all that. I did not tell Natara about the chair stuff
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
until after the wedding,
Yeah.
I believe.
You didn't want
Like,
her
I didn't
all
want her to
frantic
worry.
and-
Yeah,
yeah.
because she would have been.
I would have been like, what are we going to do?
Yeah. So yeah, we handled that. It worked out well. It
I
was
love
nice.
it. I love
I remember feeling bad because literally the whole church was there helping with something, and then we left. It was late.
It was 9 o'clock.
It was late, and they still had to
Get
pack
all
up.
that stuff out.
Yeah.
of
I
the
want to
house.
say that we were near a time change. I could be wrong. You know, when the
Spring-
time
spring
change. I
forward.
can't remember.
Spring
I
forward,
can't
yeah.
remember. But it was something going on like early that morning the next day. And like
It was
I just
Easter.
really felt bad that, you know, we had all those people all the way out
Yeah.
in Clarksville like that late doing work.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, everybody was so young. Like,
yeah.
it's not the same families. There were some couples. I remember LaShawn, because we were like no kids. When we had a space anyway. And LaShawn's oldest was an infant. And she was like, Dara, he could stay upstairs. Like, I really don't want to miss that. I was like, all right, bring him. Don't tell nobody.
Kristen brought hers
Right,
too.
and our nephew Caleb,
Okay.
you know, they're the same
And they
age. So
stayed
Okay.
upstairs.
there were
on
two babies
Portia.
upstairs, right?
Yep.
So it was just a lot of young people,
Yeah.
and it was so nice. It was fun.
Yeah,
We did a lot of laughing, and
I'm sure.
that morning I woke up and girl, that cycle was fresh. Flo was like, congratulations. So
Dang, for real?
for real.
Now, did you know that your cycle was about to
No,
come around that
to this
time?
day
She doesn't
I'm
know.
always,
She never knows.
Oh, okay.
I know more than she knows.
to this day, I'm like,
Oh, you acting like that today? Oh, you about to be on your cycle.
Dang.
yeah, and it's funny because I don't think I was tripping at that. I don't know.
Yeah, I was on my cycle on my wedding day. I was blown. about that.
Mine was day one. Day one is like, don't go chasing waterfalls. It was like,
Yeah.
I called him too. I was like, Montague, I started my cycle today.
Yeah.
He was like, it's all right. It's all good. He was always so great. It was like, "Psh, don't worry, we got a whole lifetime.
That's what's
to
up.
get busy.
That's
So, no.
That's good, Montague.
But you know what? That reminds me when we were in a relationship, or at the very, very beginning, and we were, in our 20s. And I was just like, I'm going to have to tell him that I don't plan on having sex before I get married. I was like, I need him to know if we're going to be in a relationship, we ain't having sex unless we end up married. And I was very nervous about it. I was talking to my friend about it. And then one day he was reading something and I was sitting with them and we were watching something or something. But I know he was reading something. And then I said, Montague, I need to tell you something. And he didn't look up. He was just like, And I was like, I'm a virgin and I plan on remaining a virgin until I'm married. He was like, okay. And then I was like, but that means, unless we get married, that means you won't be having sex.
Woman-splaining.
He was like,
I know what it means.
He was like, I know. Okay. And that was it. And I was
I knew
like,
this before.
right, but I thought,
me knowing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was like, some guys stop talking to girls.
I wasn't even thinking about
or
that.
vice versa. So I was just like, I don't know, he might not like me after that. But he stuck around. Yeah. So when I called him saying I'm on my cycle, you're going to wait a little longer. He was okay.
He was okay.
He was okay.
So talk about the honeymoon. What was it like?
We went on a 7-day Western Caribbean cruise.
Okay.
With Holland America, which is one of the nicer cruise lines.
Your mom booked that for us, right?
She did.
Okay, Gigi was on it.
She really was.
And we weren't on one of the inside ones, that don't have any windows. We weren't in one of those.
Window.
You can look out on the sea as we were hanging out. So we went to Half Moon Cay. We went to Ocho Rios, Jamaica. We went to Cozumel, and then we went to
Bahamas.
Georgetown, Cayman Islands, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Half Moon Cay was the Bahamas.
It is.
Yeah. And we spent the last evening in Fort Lauderdale before we flew back up to Baltimore.
Okay. Yeah.
It was a really nice
And I
trip.
remember the whole. First of all, I'd never been on a cruise. Secondly, I never left the country, and I haven't since. But I just remember I kept saying, and I was like, Montague, after this is over, we get to live together. I was like, we don't have to go back to it, because it was always really hard for me. When leave me alone. When we would be hanging out and then he had to go home, and I wanted him to stay.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, well, just stay. Like, you ain't gotta go. Especially if we
It
watch
was
something
like
scary.
it was easily like a 45-minute weaning period that we had. Yeah, it was,
No,
it
but
was
you
pretty
can
crazy.
stay. You don't have to leave.
It was
Right.
pretty crazy.
We ain't gotta do nothing, but
Many tears were shed.
Yeah. Oh,
I was a crybaby. Why? Calm down, Tyra.
hilarious.
We know why.
So y'all had a cruise for your honeymoon. We actually had one too, and it was really fun. And it was Jared's first time on a cruise, and so you can imagine his silly self. He was wilding
All the
out.
food and
Yeah,
all
the
the stuff to
food,
do.
just the water, everything. So, okay, so you have your honeymoon. You come back. You said that you were looking forward to actually living together now. So talk about just those early months, early years. Well, more so months, not years yet. But just now you're married. You live together. You get to sleep in the same bed together. Talk about what that was like.
Me?
I thought you were going.
Hey. It was fun.
Yeah.
I was just really excited. I always tell my kids, especially my daughter, because she's 16. I always tell her there's just so much security in a relationship when you're married. It's the kind of security that's not there,
Prior to.
Yeah. So it was just not the pressure of, does he still like me? Or, does he, I don't know, just the pressure of not knowing or not knowing if he's going to call you or how long it's going to be until he texts you, you know. I knew how he felt and I knew that we, that commitment was there. Yeah. So it was just, that pressure was gone. And it was just fun. He was very, like I said, he always made me feel very comfortable and very safe. Even even when we consummated our marriage, and I was like a virgin. I was a virgin. I was just like
He was a virgin.
Like, where we gonna start? But he was a gentleman,
Yeah.
and it made me just very. It wasn't an uncomfortable thing where I was just like, "Don't look at me yet,
Right.
wait." I was just very comfortable. He was an amazing. He was just a gentleman, and it was nice. So, just being married and just learning each other was a good experience at the beginning. Of course, all throughout, you're still learning each other,
Right.
but definitely learning each other in that way. Because we got extremely close to the line, but we did not have premarital intercourse, so it was a pleasant exploration.
Yeah, absolutely.
During that time. It was
Absolutely.
nice.
And it's worth the wait, y'all.
It's worth the wait. It really is.
The wait.
It's worth the wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Moscow?
It was fun. It was. We were kids. Like, we were adults, we were kids.
Yeah.
It was like a permanent sleepover.
Yep.
I remember early on, we used to take the mattress out of the bedroom, put it in the living room, and just
Okay.
camp out there and watch movies and stuff.
I love
It
it.
was fun. But, y'all, we was broke.
That was hard.
We were broke.
We were
Broke as a joke.
broke. Like arguing over a popsicle broke.
Right. Yeah.
But it was one of those fruit pops, the nature
yeah,
ones.
yeah.
Yeah, and so it was that serious, and
I just don't, again, like, there's no earthly explanation for how we made it work then. It was clearly God. Because our rent was like maybe $600, $550 or something like that. Then we had BGE and all that stuff. We only had one salary at that time because I was back in school.
Gotcha.
And she was making $777 every 2 weeks
Wow.
at her job at RFS. So I have no idea, like,
Wow.
other than like, and that's the way God wants it, right? He doesn't want you to be able to explain, oh, we did this.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
He wants you to. He
Yeah.
wants it to be clear that it's coming from him, and that was very clear all through our marriage. That's been a recurring theme that, it's not your job that sustains you. It's not
Yeah.
any of that.
Yeah.
It's always me.
That's right.
So he always brings it back. Even right now, he's
Even right
bringing
now.
it back.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah.
how long did y'all have that period of it being financially difficult?
Years.
Uh-huh.
I would say.
I mean, every time we got to a point where we felt comfortable, then we had another kid. And
Surprise.
then you got diapers, daycare,
Yeah.
every time we felt like we were in a comfortable economic place
Or getting
or
our
space,
footing and
Yeah.
then there was another addition. And
So-
it was pretty
Wow.
even. Like, they're 2007, 2009, 2011.
And every time we had a kid, we
Wow.
had to move.
Right.
Because one time they were like, you have too many kids, you can't live in a 2-bedroom. No,
We can't live in a one bedroom.
So we had to move.
Which was a lie. But anyway.
Oh.
So we had to move when we had Samira. Then we had to move when we had Joshua. And we moved shortly after we had Gideon.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. So when it comes to vision and establishing missions, agendas, and that sort of thing early on in marriage, kind of talk about that. Was that challenging, or was it like, yeah, babe, this is how we're going to do it, this is what we're going to do? How was it for you at that point?
I think you should go first.
Okay.
Just given what you plan to talk about.
Yeah. So,
They got notes, y'all.
I know.
They
I
came
do.
prepared.
You hear? You hear me? True submission and trust was hard for me. Really, really submitting, and because I wrestle with still needing to feel like I'm married. He's here, and I can do this on my own. I can do this myself. I can do this. So still wanting to be self-sufficient and sharp, and and maintain that. Got into the way of me learning how to submit, because a lot of times, rather than me relenting what I think I need to be able to do or how I need to feel in a moment. I was really struggling with feeling like my ideas or my input is being disregarded or being overlooked, or you think I'm dumb, or you know, I know how to do stuff too. Like, there's nothing wrong with my brain. Like, and just a lot of pride and a lot of insecurity. And I overdid it.
Okay.
To the point of not speaking up when I did need help, not speaking up when I did feel a certain way, or not letting him into a space where he could really see me vulnerable. There were moments, but not consistent, for him to just see my vulnerability, because I did not want to look weak or needy. I definitely didn't want to look needy. Or like I couldn't do it by myself.
Yeah.
I used to just always want him to know, you know, if you decide you leave me, I got it. I got me. I'm good. I'll be all right. And, you know, that comes from how I was raised and watching my dad abandon my mother and my mom, like, not knowing what to do with these 4 daughters and how to navigate. And it kind of fell apart. And I was like, that ain't going to be this girl.
Yeah.
But trying to overcompensate for something that could happen,
Right.
i.e. him leaving me.
Yeah.
I just did way too much. And so that struggle of even trying to establish a vision, I didn't leave room for it because I was always trying to do. And not listening was hard for this girl. Like, I was just very, I wasn't arrogant, but I was just always feeling like I had to prove myself. Like, I can do that. Like, I know. Like, I understand. Like, stop. And that it also goes back into, you know, how I was treated or regarded as a kid too. I had 3 other sisters, and just how I was seen within that. So I was very a lot of defense.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Feeling like I had to always defend myself, and always just like he needed to always see me on point. Like, I already did that, or, you know, I got this. And so that kind of got in the way of Montague truly being able to navigate and establish, this is what our family needs to do, and this is, you know, and this is this, and that is that, and without me feeling like, so what are you saying? Like,
Right.
you know, so I was, in that regard, I was difficult. I made it difficult.
Yeah.
So, I mean, by this point, we are like in 2011-ish. So we're going from 2005 to 2011. So that's 6 years.
Yeah.
And you can see the theme that goes with, you know, learning how to be a team or work as a team. Like, that 6 years, we were literally winging it.
That's true.
Winging it. Everything that came, winging it. And Natara, this part of what fed into that insecurity is that I'm more laid back. Like, I don't need to, for me to be okay, I don't need to have everything planned out. Okay. Like, in my head, I'll know what I think I want to do, but I'm not communicating that. I didn't learn that until much later. Meanwhile, she's sitting on the side like,
I know I ain't the only one.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, that was very challenging. So it wasn't until around 2011, I think we did the resolution that year.
Oh, the men's.
Yeah.
Men's
And
resolution.
after that, I could be wrong, but I think that's when we did our family vision. And even looking back at the emails that were going back and forth when that vision was completed, like, you can see the phases that Natara was going through in her mind.
Yeah. The tone. I
Right.
read the email like,
And I read the email
like Natara.
no. But yeah, I mean, if you want me to share it, I can share it. It's pretty cool. So the Blount family vision statement is to train, equip, and sharpen one another to effectively walk in our God-designed purpose, realize our dreams, live a healthy and debt-free life, and create a lasting legacy. We plan to do so through constant spiritual growth, prayer, fasting, planning, making kingdom-minded decisions, action, effectively managing our resources and walking in integrity. We aspire to strengthen our family through respecting each other, communicating effectively, and treating each other with 1 Corinthians 13 love. That is the vision statement for our family.
From 2011.
From 2011.
How long were y'all married at that point?
Six years.
And by then it was right after Gideon, because that
We had
email
3 kids.
Okay.
was like February 2011, and we had Gideon February 18th, 2011.
Okay.
So it was right after having our third baby.
Gotcha.
And when you look at it, even though that's not something that we say all the time, or even that we recall a lot, when you go back and look at the email, like, this is what we're applying to what we're doing. And it's still a work in progress. We're still working through some of those things.
Yeah.
But this year has just been monumental with regard to accomplishing some major stuff that's in this statement. And hopefully we'll be back another time to share that. But yeah, that's the family vision. It was very tough getting to that point because of, the things that Natara shared, but that's where we're at.
Okay.
And in our notes, you wrote laid back versus extra. What was extra? Extra was me? No, I'm just playing. I was like, how you going to write that?
Yeah.
So, talk about then, since you didn't establish that until after your third child was born. So, when it comes to vision and when it comes to, or maybe the lack thereof, and working as a team, when Zamira was born, your first child, what was that like?
We crashed and burned and didn't even know it.
That's true.
We crashed
said.
and we burned. Zamira,
And many people around us didn't know it either.
Right. Zamira was the most challenging child.
Okay.
And it's not because of Zamira. It's because we were poor planners, poor parent. Like,
First
our
we were
marriage. That too. I don't think we were ever poor, but
No,
we were definitely broke.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't work together. We didn't. I didn't realize that we were not working together, but we weren't.
Yeah.
So
y'all
for
were married
example,
for how long at that point?
This was 2007.
We were only married for like a year when we found out we were pregnant, or not even a year.
It was longer than that.
No,
It was
because
2000. Yeah, you're right. 2006.
our 1 year anniversary, or 2 year anniversary, was we had the baby though.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's
Y'all
2
were
years.
very
Because she was
early in
born on the
marriage.
10th. Our anniversary was the 26th.
Okay. Wow. Honeymoon baby.
We tried.
I lost my train of thought.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize.
Yeah. So
You guys were very separate, not working as a
right.
team.
So, I started going back to school in 2005, like that fall after we got married.
You rocked it too. Go.
Yeah. So by then, my pattern was I would go to class. In between classes, I worked as a lab assistant on campus. So all of my time on campus was spent either in class or working. And I would try to double up and do my homework and stuff and at work, which I wasn't supposed to do, but I did anyway. And then after, I may or may not have had to work a night shift at Blockbuster. On the nights that I did have to work a night shift, that was the nights that we agreed that I would sleep on the sofa. And she would be in there with the baby.
Okay.
And that was
Got the
not
face.
like I don't know how that came apart. It might have been me. I don't know. But this is me not realizing that I'm creating an issue by not being present. Trying to preserve my energy and whatnot.
Got you.
So as you can see, this is not headed in a good direction.
Wait, what?
Right?
Wait, right now?
No.
Oh,
the
right,
story.
right. I
that
thought you were
I'm
talking about because I
communicating.
made a face, which I did. I did make a face.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yes.
Go ahead.
My turn?
Yeah.
Okay, because you said I'm extra up there on number 9.
Number 9.
Question number 9. It's a phrase you said, I wanted to correct it. You said, you just said that you didn't, something you just blamed yourself for. And it was not your fault. So I want to correct that.
Okay.
It goes back to what I said about me feeling like I need to be able to do this. So we just knew we were having a boy.
Okay.
When Samara was in the belly, like we'd be like, Joshua, like.
So y'all
oh
had
my
Joshua's
goodness,
already already?
We did.
Okay.
I had a dream. I saw Joshua in my dream. I did. I saw him, and I was like, Montague, I had a dream. I saw him. He was a boy, and I wanted to do a junior, so I wanted a Montague Christopher
Okay.
Blount Jr. Montague was like, no. I was like,
Okay.
wow.
Ain't doing that.
So we did Joshua Montague Blount. When we finally went, now we had been calling him Joshua, but you can't find out at first. So when we finally went, at first we were like, we're gonna be surprised, and we were like, never mind, I got time for that. So we went to the doctor, and the nurse was like, yeah, 99% sure you guys are having a girl, and we were looking like.
Girl, bye.
Right, she don't even know what the Lord said. So we were like, she wrong, but okay.
And then
So
she
left.
She flipped over.
Nah, but the doctor came in,
Right.
and then she said we having a girl, like telling on her. And Dr. Elberfeld was the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
He kind of looked like the Oval Redenbacher. Popcorn man with
Really?
the glasses, yes. Except he was bald on the top. He helped me through each pregnancy. I absolutely loved him. He took his
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
He was never in a rush. He knew the history of everything. And he was like, "Yeah, that's a girl. That's a girl." And we were looking like, "Oh, okay." When I tell you, Montague was silent for the rest of the visit.
Oh, wow.
He was silent in the elevator. I think he didn't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But we were just like,
Dang.
we know we're having a boy.
Yeah,
what is you doing?
yeah.
And I remember, I was like, well, and this is me saving face, and I have to look efficient and okay with life. I was like, it'll be fine or whatever. It's a girl. It's gonna be fun. And then one day, shortly thereafter, I was sitting in front of like a Target or something in the car. And I just broke down crying. I was like, I cannot raise a girl. I was like, I can't do it. I'm not confident enough as a woman to raise a girl. It's like, I don't know what to tell her. I wasn't, I didn't like the girl I was. I was insecure and self-conscious, and I just did whatever everybody else was doing. I was like, I can raise a boy because we just have some fun and we get gritty. It's like, I'm not going to be good at this.
Wow.
I mean, I thought like I need to have this motherly instinct. I remember I was at a friend's house while I was pregnant, and their baby fell
Okay.
off like the couch or something. Wasn't a baby, but like not quite talking, but big enough to walk around, big enough to fall his butt off the couch. Wasn't my fault, but the baby was next to me and kind of like literally like fell on his head, and I was like, oh. And then the mom was like, dang, you just let him fall. And I was like, I didn't realize he was gonna fall or whatever. And I was like, I'm not ready to be a mother.
Dang, that stuck with you.
I was like, no, I'm gonna mess up. I don't even have motherly instinct. I just let the baby fall. A mother wouldn't have done that. A mother would have been able to catch. So I already felt like, yeah, I'm not gonna be good at this. So the way I was, instead of asking for help, I needed everybody out my space. So when I mess up with this baby, nobody would see it. So I didn't want people at the house. I definitely didn't want my mother at the house. Like I didn't want anybody there while I was learning this baby. And I was not good at it. Of course, naturally, that is okay.
Yeah.
You need help.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even ask him for help. So I would cry. I would wet Zamira's hair in the middle of the night, holding her, trying to get her to go back to sleep, crying in her hair. And not washing her feet, washing her feet like the lady did with Jesus. No, I was just crying over this baby, and I just couldn't. And I literally fell into postpartum depression with Zamira. Not because she was a hard baby, but I had a hard time because I didn't ask him for help. I didn't reach out. So this whole time, Montague did not know what I was going through. I would feel okay during the day, like he wasn't. If he was in class and stuff throughout the day, I was really trying to figure out, what do I do with this baby during the day? Like, people, I read stuff and people would say, like, open up the blinds, let the sun shine in so the baby can know that she needs to be awake. I
Okay.
tried that. She was still asleep. I wouldn't sleep when she slept. I'm like, well, now I can clean up, or now I can cook, or now I can. So when that sun was going down, it was, I could feel it in like I was bubbling up with all this pressure. Like, here comes the nighttime. And the night was so lonely because I was so tired and I didn't know how to get this girl to burp. Can you burp? So you don't throw up. And now all this milk. And now you hungry again. You threw it all up. So, like, it was so much.
Yeah.
I would just cry. And I wouldn't tell anybody. And people would come during the day and they'd be like, hey, I'll spend time with the baby. You can go take a nap. I'd be like, girl, I don't need a nap. Like, and because I was too anxious to sleep during the day. And I was just so tired at night. I don't know what I did. I just know the sleep deprivation, I would hallucinate sometimes. And I would cry every night. I cried.
Wow.
Every night. And I wouldn't say anything. I didn't say anything to Montague. I didn't say anything to friends, people who came over. I didn't reach out to anybody.
So was that a part of what you said earlier about people on the outside didn't really know what was actually going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't even take off enough time from singing on the worship team. I did 8 weeks. I did 6 weeks not going to church, 8 weeks before I went back to work. And I came on that Sunday. And I remember, for some reason, when I had Samira, I had a cough. And I didn't have a voice. And I remember singing that day. Not doing all of praise and worship, but I sang that day. And I should have just said no. But I did it anyway. Yeah. And from that day, I was like, well, might as well start going back to rehearsal. And I did way too early. Which is why I would tell other moms that were on the team, don't come back too early.
Yeah.
Don't just chill. We're okay. I did too much. I did too much too soon, and trying to act like I was okay made me worse. And it was the nighttime, though. It was literally the dark that triggered the emotions. But I literally cried every night for a while until she started eating. And then I started feeling okay because she would sleep longer. But before that, I was a wreck. All by myself. I ain't prayed about it. I just felt like, Natara, stop. Don't nobody else struggle like this with a baby. Calm down. Like, I told you, you're not going to be good at it. I told you couldn't do it. And look at you. You're a hot mess.
Wow.
Get it together.
So all this time, this is an internal battle,
Just
really?
me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, me as a husband, I'm like, when I come home from work, she would take the baby and give her to me. And I would just be trying to calm her down until she would go to sleep. It was very hard to get Zamira to go to sleep. And, also, I don't know, I guess we might have to edit this out. But, we also had problems with intimacy during that period.
You ain't got to edit that out.
Okay. That was the worst year of our marriage.
I agree.
Because I felt like she would be angry with me because, like, you caused this. You the reason why I'm feeling like this. And I also didn't know how bad it was behind the scenes. And I would remember being mad because she literally she was literally a robot around me. Just because, just trying to suppress everything that was going on in her mind. But then, when she would go to sing and praise and worship, she would give everything she had. And I'd be sitting there like, yo, how does she go up there and do that?
That's true.
Yeah.
But then, like, nothing?
Yeah.
Nothing? Like, I would be mad. I would be mad at God. Like, what is going on here? I don't think I ever said anything like that. But I'd just be mad just internally. So that was just a really, really tough space.
It was.
And again, the result of not working together,
Right.
not really
Yeah.
knowing what's going on with
Yeah.
each other.
Right. Right.
I mean, I felt like she was pretty up to date on where I was as far as how I felt about things. But you know, there's no way around that. I don't think we even got it together until the night that Joshua was conceived. It took that long to get it together.
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
that was rough.
And
Yeah.
that was going to be my next question. You know, when Joshua came, how were things as far as working as a team, and how did you make that adjustment?
I got a good story for that.
Wow, wow, wow. Well, y'all, that was part 1 of episode 31, titled Navigating Life as a Team in Marriage, featuring Montague and Atira Blounts. I hope that you are ready to see part 2 of this episode, premiering next Thursday, November 2nd at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want you to be sure to like this episode, share it with others that they may be blessed, and go ahead and leave a comment letting us know something that stood out from this episode today. If you haven't yet, also go ahead and subscribe to the channel Breakthrough Conversations. Until next time, everyone, enjoy your day and be blessed.